without any further testing or anything. Then, below that, but above an adult basic ed level, will be what we call the developmental ed bucket. So there will be right below college ready up to right above the APE level. That will be the developmental ed bucket. That is based on the National Reporting System Educational Functioning Level Descriptors. And those are federal guidelines that are used to determine adult basic ed levels. Roughly, there are 6 levels in the adult education field. The bottom 4 roughly are equivalent to grade levels. So level 1 is approximately grades 1 and 2. Level 2 is approximately grades 3 and 4 level work, and so forth. So if you follow that, you'll know that levels 5 and 6, the highest 2 levels of those NRS levels, are actually high school level work. It'd be 9th grade and above, little above 9th grade, maybe lowest 10th grade to senior year. Those are the levels. Levels 5 and 6 are the levels we are counting as developmental education. Technically, those are called adult secondary. Levels 1 through 4 are adult basic education. So I know one of the biggest questions is, if a student tests into adult basic education, can they still take developmental ed coursework? Well, what our plan is at the coordinating board is the first year of implementation, we're just going to want to identify the populations. So right now we have estimates anywhere from 4 to 5% of students who potentially can test into there, all the way up to 40%. And I know those may even be different by institution or regionally, but we really have no idea. So the first year we want to identify those populations. And then, if any policies result, that will then occur after that. You can imagine policies will look very differently if we're talking about 4% versus 40%. The second question is, in the academic course guide manual, there are learning outcomes that are approved by the board that have to be addressed in each of the developmental courses. So you can see from looking at those learning outcomes, clearly they're not going to address the needs of a student who may be functioning at a 3rd or 4th grade level in a particular subject area. So is it ethical to put a student functioning at that level into a developmental ed course clearly not designed to meet his or her needs? So what we hope and what we highly recommend institutions to do right now at this point, before, while we're still identifying and developing and implementing, is to begin conversations on campus. Do an assessment on your campus. Bring all the people, the continuing ed people, the WECM side of the house, your workforce folks, even possibly community partnerships, the workforce solutions. There is as a quick aside, there is a bill that we think might have a pretty good chance of passing to move adult basic education from TEA to the workforce, to the Texas Workforce Commission. We think that's a good thing. We're unofficially, or officially we have, we think anything is good, whatever they tell us to do. But realistically, we think that might be a good thing because the Texas Workforce Commission has a number of resources for training, especially those lower skilled students. So we would love to see that expanded. Also, provide a better pathway from perhaps the training programs into higher ed for those students who may be functioning at a higher level. So anyway, that having been said, there's so many wheels moving while we're trying to get all this going. So again, getting into the adult basic ed, if the student tests into there, would their needs be addressed in a developmental ed class? And clearly, especially once we start defining these levels more, and once we start focusing on those outcomes, you can see that they're not going to meet their needs. And one other thing with the new TSI, in case you don't know, there is a placement component, and then there's a diagnostic component. So when the student completes the test, you will not only get the traditional cut score like you've had before, you will also get a diagnostic profile divided into 4 different strands, and it'll have a red, yellow, green, 1 through 15 level of proficiency. So this is information that we encourage institutions to use, or we expect you to use that, to help help make decisions, especially those students who potentially are in the bubble score range. And we really hope within the next 5 years that the default placement for most students would be the credit-bearing course with developmental ed support as needed. So that's really what we were hoping. So many, many more students who we know have the potential to do well in credit-bearing. This is definitely validated by a number of studies at the Community College Research Center and a number of other foundations and so forth. We know that so many more students would do well in credit-bearing course with the appropriate developmental ed support. So we really would like to see that whole mainstreaming to be considered on a much greater level. And we hope the information that you'll get from a diagnostic profile will help you make those decisions. We also encourage use of high school GPA and class ranking, prior academic coursework, both formal and informal, even considering possible trainings that they brought in from jobs they've had, asking, how many hours a week do you work? What are your family life obligations and priorities that may become obstacles or hinder you, or that you, with this program or this program, can help you get through that and help you become successful. So I know there's a lot of things in place. Our next topic for the next webinar on February 27th is tentative. We're working with Sharon Miller, and if you're familiar with the Texas Toolbox, we're hoping to use that one, using the diagnostic profile to address differentiated placement and assessment. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll have that one ready. There may be a possibility that the next topic also will be the College Board coming in and talking a little bit more about the placement test and the diagnostic component and so forth. But, and again, my apologies in advance for the tentativeness of some of these topics, but keep checking the website and they'll be updated.